What's up, everyone? Morey Croson here from the Performance Lab of California, and we have a new breakdown for you today. It is on Tom Brady and really the comparison of the golf swing and throwing a football as a quarterback. Tom Brady is a guy that is a fairly avid golfer, and also a fairly avid quarterback as well. It's a joke there. And so what I thought would be interesting is being able to show how the transfer and the load and how some of the things that you do with the golf swing also are things that are transfer over into the throw as a quarterback, and what are some things that actually don't transfer over to the throw as a quarterback. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. Obviously, we've done this breakdown here, shown this video of Tom Brady a few times, so we know it's on the left. We'll start with kind of the load, and you can see how Tom Brady loads back, and obviously there's a step here, and what happens, that's the biggest difference, is that you could see the initiation of the weight coming forward, right? So you could see how right here he's shifting his weight forward, keeping his front shoulder closed, and really trying to open up that front hip. And then we'll go and see with the golf swing, you can see that the load's different, right? This load, right? So he's already trying to get like some of his weight forward here, where on this side he's really far back, right? You can see all of his weights on that right leg, where here, I mean, he initiates it on the right leg, but even on this, it's almost like more of his weight is on the inside part of his foot, or at least the middle part of his foot, where here he's all the way onto the outside part of his foot. And then as he initiates through, you can see that it's really a lateral movement, and it's very hard stop within that front hip, right? There's not like a big continual rotation. He's transferring forward and then lifting upwards on that front leg, where here he's rotating and really using the back foot to be able to push that weight forward, where here he's really using more of just the counterbalance of his overall weight shift, right? So he's just leaning from the outside part of his right foot into the inside part of his right foot. Okay, here he's pushing off his back leg, and then as he's going, you can see how he's not as hard stop trying to get vertical on that left leg. He's keeping that leg bent, and he's trying to get rotation within that hip. Okay, so as he's trying to rotate there, now he's allowing there to be a little bit more of a consistent momentum shift, right? So this is a little bit longer overall movement. The golf swing is not as long. It's a little bit longer of a load, but in terms of actual power production, it's very, very quick and very short. So you can see big stop there. And then as he comes through, after he makes contact, that's when he starts to really rotate through, and that's where you get some similarities in terms of how that back leg looks, right? And how the overall, T-spine or mid-back is rotating. Start to see some similarities there. And then from a finish perspective, so now we can see the actual throw. Now we can see where the finish is. Here you could again see some similarities, right? Where here he's a little bit more on the a little bit more again balance. Where here he's a little bit more on the outside part of the foot. You can see that he's a little bit more straight up with the golf swing in comparison to here, where he's able to, he's rotated all the way through with the spine. And, so there's a few things that I think are important, just because I like the ability to utilize the golf swing in order to improve from a quarterback perspective. And I think what you could really do is really work on your ability to just shift that weight. So I see a lot of guys that struggle with what he does here with that with his golf swing, where he's all the way back on his back leg and then shifts that weight forward onto the front leg. Now, I know when I go golfing, I'm not as hard of a stop there. I think this is a little bit more of the professional way to do it, how he's doing it. I'm not as hard of a stop. I try to allow there to be a little bit more rotation as I'm coming down. And that, I think, helps me in transferring over into being able to throw well as a quarterback, is just being able to load all the way up on that back leg and really transfer that weight forward on that front leg, you even see how he's really pushing off that back leg as he actually hits the ball to make it so then he's able to generate force. Here, he's not able to load as much, right? He can't take as much overall force, but he's still able to use the ability to push off that back leg to create momentum to get his weight forward. So now he gets to use a lot more of that bottom half, right? So he's using that in order to generate force, where a lot of us, or a lot of quarterbacks I see, they just really struggle in being able to create force in the lower body, which is where the beginning of the problems end up happening. If you can't create force out of your lower body, now you're going to be able to, you're putting yourself a lot more susceptible to having overuse problems, trying to throw the ball too much with like the shoulder. Now you're going to have elbow stuff, you're going to have shoulder stuff, you're going to have pec stuff. You're just putting yourself a little bit more risk to have upper body problems if you're not able to use the lower body as effectively. So, and I would just think of that as a overall, feedback, is that if you're using too much of your upper body, then that's when you're going to be feeling a lot more soreness in that upper body. So just make sure you're keeping good range of motion there, and also make sure you're working on improving your overall mechanics to make it so you're not putting yourself more susceptible to injury. I know a lot of guys right now, they're going into the season, and so they could be having some soreness, some fatigue, some problems with their throwing arm, and I would just think about how can you improve the use of the lower body in order to make it so that doesn't end up being a consistent problem for you moving forward. All right. We do throwing breakdowns. We do have a program for you guys. We obviously want to be able to solve your problem the best that we can. So if you have any questions about how we could help, or if you have anything going on within your upper body that you would like to address, you can reach out to us. We have the links below, and we'll be able to help you out with any of your needs there. So as always, guys, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.